Hello and good morning everyone. So in the previous video I have already discussed the three basic rules of active and passive voice. So in this video we will discuss the next three rules of active and passive voice. Okay. So if you like my videos, please like, share and subscribe my channel. You can add comments also so that I can improve my videos. Okay. So today we will start with rule 4. So what is rule 4? When a sentence is changed from passive to active voice, the subject becomes the object and vice versa. When a sentence is changed from passive to active voice, the subject becomes the object and the object becomes the subject, or vice versa. Like in rule 3 we have seen that when a sentence is changed from active to passive voice, the subject becomes the object and vice versa. Same thing applies when a sentence is changed from passive to active voice. The subject becomes the object and the object becomes the subject. Okay. So now let us see one example. The books are arranged by the librarian. The books are arranged by the librarian. Now what do we see here? The books is the subject, the librarian is the object, and are arranged, it is the verb, and by is preposition. So the sentence is in passive voice here. Okay. So now if we want to change this sentence into active voice, according to the rule, what will happen? The object librarian will come at first. That is the librarian. Then are arranged. You have to notice the form of the verb will change when the sentence in passive voice is changed to its active voice. Like in rule 3 we have seen that here what is there? The past participle form of the verb arrange is used and be verb are is used because the books is in plural form. Now after the librarian, it will be arranges. The librarian arranges the books. The librarian arranges the books. So here the librarian is the subject. This is the verb. And this is the object. Okay. So what do we see? That the subject becomes the object becomes the subject, and this is the change of the verb form. Okay, clear? So next we move on to rule 5. We move on to rule 5. Now what is rule 5? Rule 5 is the voice of a sentence is changed according to the tense used. The voice of a sentence is changed according to the tense used. Okay. Now what do we will see example. Sunny plays cricket on Sunday. Okay, so what do we see here? We see that Sunny is the subject, cricket is the object, plays is the verb. And in which form? The verb plays is simple present. Simple present. The sentence is in active voice. The sentence is in active voice. Now, if we want to change this, now let's see how we will change this sentence into passive voice depending on the tense of the verb. Okay, so in this example, what do we see? That the verb plays, it is in simple present tense. So it will be changed to its past participle form, played. Okay, when we will change this into passive voice, and the auxiliary be verb is will be used. Okay, so what will be the passive sentence? Cricket is played by Sunny on Sunday. Cricket is played by Sunny on Sunday. Now here you notice that what happens? Here the object becomes the subject here. The object cricket becomes the subject here. Okay. Now notice the change of the verb form. Here plays was in simple present tense. It changes into past participle form, played. And as cricket is singular in form, that's why the be verb is used. After that, preposition by is used. After that, subject Sunny becomes the object, and then the rest part on Sunday. Okay. Now let me show you another example. Here the sentence is changed from active to passive voice on the basis of the tense. Now if there is a passive sentence, how we will change it into active one on the basis of the tense? The cake was baked by Arjun. Now the sentence is in passive voice here. Okay. So here cake is the subject, was baked. This is auxiliary verb. And this is past participle form of bake. This is preposition and this is object. Okay. Now when we will change this sentence into active voice, then the verb baked will be used and the auxiliary verb was will be omitted. The was will be omitted. Was will not required. So when we will change this sentence into active voice, we will only use Arjun baked the cake. This is the active voice. Arjun baked the cake. Okay, so did you notice that the object becomes the subject becomes the object, and auxiliary verb was and by is omitted, only baked, the past participle form of baked is used. Okay, understood? So now we move on to rule 6. Rule 6, last rule, rule of the basic rules of active and passive voice. Now, rule 6 is, when a sentence in active voice has two objects, when a sentence in active voice has two objects, either object can be made the subject, either object can be made the subject in passive voice. Okay, when a sentence in active voice, so long we have seen that all the sentences, they are having only one object. That's why that object was becoming the subject in passive voice. Now if there are some sentences which will have two objects, now how we will change that into passive voice? There either object can be made the subject in passive voice. Now see one example. The teacher gave us a map. The sentence is in active voice. The sentence is in active voice. Now what do we see? What is the subject and object here? Obviously the teacher is the subject and we have two objects here. Us, a map, two objects. Now which is the direct and which is the indirect object? Obviously us is indirect object and map is direct object. Us is indirect object and a map is direct object. Now one way to change this sentence into passive voice is to make the direct object a map into subject. Now one way of how we can change this sentence into passive voice, we have a map as direct object. Now we can change the direct object a map into the subject, and the indirect object us, it will not be changed and it will be known as retained object. Okay, so let me show you the example. A map was given to us by the teacher. It is passive. A map was given to us by the teacher. Now what do we see here? We see that the direct object a map has become the subject here. Direct object has become the subject. Okay. Then what we have seen here, gave was in simple past. That's why the past participle form of gave, given was used, and auxiliary form of past tense was is used. Sorry, excuse me, auxiliary verb of past tense, that is was, is used. After this preposition to is used. After that the indirect object us comes. Then again the preposition by, then the subject the teacher. Okay, so here us, it becomes the retained object or indirect object. Retained object or indirect object. Now this is one way. Now another way to change this sentence into passive voice is by changing the indirect object into subject. Here in this example I have shown you that the direct object is changed into subject and the indirect object remains the retained object. Another way of changing this sentence is by changing the indirect object us into subject. Then what will be the sentence? We were given a map by the teacher. Sorry. Passive voice. We were given a map by the teacher. Now what do we see here? We see us. Us becomes we. Indirect object. Us becomes we. Then given. Here the sentence, in active voice, the subject was, the verb was gave, which was in simple past. So the past participle form of the verb given is used, and word is used, auxiliary verb word is used, because here the subject is we and the sentence is in past tense. Okay, that's why word is used. And after that comes the direct object, a map. Here a map becomes retained object. Here a map becomes the retained object. Then comes the preposition. Then comes the object, the teacher. Okay. So these are the 6 basic rules of active and passive voice. There are many more rules which I will discuss in the upcoming videos. So in order to follow and learn all those rules of active and passive voice, please follow my channel and subscribe my channel to get the update of the latest videos. Okay, and I think I have made myself clear in all these 6 rules. If you have any suggestions for improving the video, you can leave your comments in the comment section. Okay, so thank you, bye bye, and take care.